Guys, ammunition for this video has been provided by Browne Works, Inc., manufacturer of fine custom handgun grips. If you guys are looking for very unique, very customized handgun grips for your favorite handgun, contact Mark at Browne Works, Inc., link in the description below, and create something beautiful for your favorite handgun. And don't forget to tell them Wyoming Gun Project sent you. All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at a very cool surplus Smith and Wesson Model 10-10 that I have had in my collection for a long time. There you go. See that right there? Model 10-10. Now this is your pretty much standard 6-shot 38 special, but this one will definitely handle plus Ps because of the really heavy barrel and, you know, the construction of this. This is old school Smith, bro. Like this, if anybody watching this video is like a Smith expert, maybe you can tell me. I tried to do some research. I think the 10-10 came out in the 80s, 90s. I'm not sure. Somebody let me know down below if you know. But I do know this is after the pin barrels, but they still don't have the Hillary hole and they still have the firing pin attached to the hammer. So there is no transfer bar safety. The hammer is not, you know, in the frame like the newer Smiths. So this is still old school Smith quality. The bluing, what's left of it, is fantastic. These grips are beautiful. Now these are factory Smith grips that I put on years ago. When I bought this, now this was, I think I got this from Ames Surplus maybe, and it was listed as a law enforcement trade-in batch of these guns that they had. And they came with the Packmeyer, you know, finger groove grips, which is, it does feel better in the hand. It fills the hand. It's a much more ergonomic grip, but I hate the way it looks. I just do. I'm sorry. I would rather learn to shoot with the old school factory wood grips like this than the Packmeyer ones. I just think they look dumb. I fully admit, they feel better in the hand. They are easier to shoot. They're much more ergonomic and they help control recoil, which there's not a lot of recoil for this gun, even shooting, you know, plus P38 special. But these just look classic as hell. And for this gun, I'm willing to deal with that and just train to the gun. So, as you can see, it does have, I want to say this is like a 4.25 inch barrel. It does have the standard like ramped front sight and the gutter rear sight. So there would be your sight picture. Very rudimentary, nothing fancy, no red. A lot of people would put white or red fingernail polish or enamel paint on there. As you can see, a lot of holster wear. Now, this is exactly how I bought the gun. I haven't beat it up. It just kind of sat in my safe for all those years. And as you can see, again, holster wear on the barrel, on the right side, on the left side, on the trigger guard. So this was obviously on the cylinder, carried a lot by some security guard somewhere or a federal cop or something. I haven't figured that out. Maybe you guys can help me on that one. And then, of course, all the bluing missing off the back strap of this gun. This thing is still a great shooter, man. And I want to say, don't quote me on this, it was really cheap, in the $2s somewhere when I picked this up. And for that, I think this is an excellent gun. Now, there is a question though, and maybe you guys can help me out with this. See that right there? Let me zoom in. See that right there? The CDC, okay? Now, I've had people say, oh, because I've done, I did a short. Did I do a short on this gun? I think I did. And when I bought it, you know, we sat around the gun counter trying to figure out, is that Centers for Disease Control? Did they have armed guards that carry this? Or was this California Department of Corrections? Because that's what somebody else said. I think I filmed a short with this thing and I mentioned it. And somebody said, I think that's California Department of Corrections. And somebody else was like, no, that's Centers for Disease Control. They had armed guards and stuff like that. I'm not sure which one it is. This came I don't know if this is like a rack number or I've never been able to figure that out, what that says, but that's how it came. They scratched whoever had this electro penciled this out right there. It's not the serial number because the serial number is right there. But whatever rack number, identification number to the local agency, they scratched that out. But this has been there the whole time. So maybe if you guys know, let me know what you think that means. But this is just a solid, guys, the Model 10, especially this version, the heavy barreled, it's a solid old school Smith, man. I think a few years back they started making these again, and I haven't seen one of those, but it's probably got the internal hammer and the Hillary hole and all that other kind of crap. Maybe they didn't do that, but if you guys know, let me know. So let's get a weight and a trigger pull, and then let's get it out to the range and just shoot it. So what is the weight on this 38 Special? 34.65 ounces. That's awesome. That helped. This is kind of a heavy gun for that, especially for a 38 Special, but that helps control recoil a lot, and this gun shoots great. So let's get a double action and single action trigger pull. I know some people are like, don't dry fire the Smiths with the hammer on it. I think it'll probably be fine for a couple of these. I won't do too many, but 968, 984, 904. So probably about 9.5. And let's just get the single action on this gun is beautiful. 340, 284, 268. So probably the high twos, I would say, if you average that. And you could tell it's nice. So there is just a tiny bit of movement before you hit a wall, and then you start retracting the cylinder, and boom, there's where the double action breaks. Single action, no movement, and it just breaks. I mean, it's fantastic. Single action on this gun is fantastic. And maybe that's because this gun's so old and been shot a lot. The single actions they just get better with time on these old Smiths. They just smooth out and they get beautiful. So let's get it out to the range for the live fire portion and see how it shoots. accuracy portion of this review, we have a Smith and Wesson Model 10. We have 3 rounds of 130 grain, 38 special. We're going to go back 7 yards, shoot it at 3-inch shoot and see, and just see how it shoots. I'm going to shoot it from single action so that I have the best chance and the Revolver has the best chance to maybe squeeze out the most amount of accuracy. So let's go do that. All right, man. All right. So as you can see, it could shoot. It is shooting a little bit low left, and but it grouped really nice. Now that's with this ammunition. It might shoot 158s dead on. That's the thing with revolvers. Even at 7 yard, and it's more pronounced the farther back you get, you'll have accuracy shifts depending on even the brand, weight, power, all kinds of stuff. So that's definitely not a bad group for defensive accuracy from 7 yards. So let's go get the final thoughts. All right, folks, final thoughts on the Smith and Wesson Model 10-10. I think it's awesome, man. I like these old heavy barrel 38s, man. They will take anything. Rumor has it they'll take 357 Magnums, but of course they won't fit in the cylinder. But no, this is a fantastic gun. I think they recently started making this again a few years back. But this is one of the old school ones. As discussed in the tabletop, it did belong to some type of agency, CDC. I remember when I bought this, gosh, years and years and years ago. As you can see again, scratched off, whatever that is. I don't know if that's like a rack number or something, but that's how I got it. And there's been some debate when I post videos about this, whether that is the Center for Disease Control or the California Department of Corrections. That's what other people have said. So again, if you know, let me know down in the comments below. These old Smiths are indestructible, man, and I love them. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.